that is 4 inches shorter than the Russian, who brings in a perfect 15-0 record with 12 knockouts.
Around the world on DAZN from Fantasy Springs Resort Casino here in Indio, California. It is time for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing this scheduled for the IBF Super Featherweight Championship of the World. Presented by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions in association with RCC Boxing. Sponsored by Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, and Bet Online. Odds for tonight's fight are brought to you by Bet Online. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing red trimmed in black, he weighed in officially 129 3/4 pounds. In 15 professional fights, he is perfect. 15 victories, including 12 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here's the undefeated super featherweight from Ekaterinburg, Russia. The IBF #1 rated super featherweight contender in the world, Shavkat Rakhimov. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the red corner. Wearing blue trunks trimmed in white, he weighed in 133 1/2 pounds. In 32 professional fights, his record outstanding with 31 victories. Just 1 defeat, 15 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the fighting pride of South El Monte, California. Here's the former IBF Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Joseph Jojo Diaz Jr.
All right, buddy. Boxer chief second. Right here. Okay, guys, belt line is good here. Belt line is good here. Back up a little bit, gentlemen. I gave you instructions in the back. Protect yourselves at all times and listen to my commands. Touch them up. Back to your corner, gentlemen.
For Joseph Diaz, a huge moment. For Rakhimov, the biggest moment of his career and a chance to prove that he has the talent to win at a world championship level.
There's Rakhimov. The big question mark, the unknown. How good is he really? Can he beat Jojo Diaz? The IBF Super Featherweight Championship hangs in the balance, at least for Rakhimov. 12 rounds in Indio, California.
Both, Jojo Diaz, as we know, missed the weight on Friday, but both these guys this morning came in under the 140-pound limit that the IBF sets for world championship fights.
A lot going on in Jojo Diaz's world, most notably the fact that he has a new baby. You saw the mother of his child in his locker room with him. Maria Nunez, his young daughter, I believe about 2 months old, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, talking about his weight gain.
He said it might be pregnancy weight, right?
He said his wife liked a lot of sweets. He joined her in that eating.
Hey, trust me, I have 3 daughters. It's tough. Peanut butter and banana sandwiches at midnight. You just have to go get them sometimes.
Rakhimov made the change a few months ago to join Freddie Roach's stable. And one thing Freddie told me that he's worked on with Rakhimov is kind of keeping that space. He has a tendency at times to leap into his punches, which exposes him to big counter shots. He's trying to help him keep that distance at the right time all fight.
And also over in Eastern Europe sometimes, Chris, things are allowed to get a little more rough and tumble than they are here in the United States. So Rakhimov kind of had to clean up his act a little bit as he steps into a world title fight for the first time.
Right here we're seeing 2 left-handers, southpaw versus southpaw. We know Joseph Diaz's only loss is to a southpaw and Gary Russell Jr. And when it comes to Rakhimov, I asked him how many southpaws he's faced. He says about 6 or 7 as a professional. So nothing new for Rakhimov facing a left-hander.
Speaking of Freddie Roach, there was a lot of talk a few weeks back about Rakhimov testing positive for COVID-19. Freddie Roach himself tested positive for COVID-19 in January. Thankfully, his symptoms were mild. He was able to recover pretty quickly, but certainly scary. You hear about Freddie Roach testing positive.
Diaz actually facing his 4th consecutive southpaw opponent. That's incredible. Ruben Tamayo, Gary Russell Jr., Freddie Fonseca, Jesus Quadro, and Tevin Farmer. Back to back to back to back.
Nice left hand there by Diaz catching Rakhimov.
There's a free here. Work out of it. Work out of it. Let him go, Joe.
Take it easy, take it easy. Right there, follow him right to the chest. Right to the chest. He's wide open, he's wide.
10 seconds, stay seated.
Listen for the bell, gentlemen. Time, right there, right there.
She say, do you love me? I tell her.
Round 2 scheduled for 12. Jojo Diaz just one professional loss. Certainly not one that you would fault him for. Gary Russell Jr. Rakhimov has never been beaten, but has not faced nearly the level of competition as Diaz.
Rakhimov has a good win against a hard-punching Mexican, Robinson Castellanos. He dropped him like 3 or 4 times, and body punches was what Castellanos went down with.
Yeah, but I don't even look at that as a good win, Sergio. That was the last fight of Castellanos' career. Yeah. He was shot at that point. He's got a name. It's a name on his resume, and I'll give him that. It's just, you know, when you look at the guys he's beaten, nothing are all that impressive. Not to say he can't win these fights, but, you know, levels matter.
We'll find out what level he's at because Jojo Diaz right near the top. A win over Diaz certainly propels Rakhimov on to some big fights.
I like that jab that Diaz is stabbing Rakhimov with.
Rakhimov got off balance there. Left hand from Jojo Diaz. Caught him again.
Diaz's accuracy can be a big factor in this fight. Rakhimov is an aggressive fighter, but his aggression can be used against him. It was in that last fight against Fuzili, where he was losing before the knockout in the 8th round, and part of that was because Fuzili was timing him, coming in and using that aggression against him.
Fuzili also boxed it real nicely going backward. He had pretty fast hands and nice body punching right there by Jojo Diaz.
Oh, and a big left hand. You can see the Russian's neck snap to the left.
Rakhimov is rocked with that shot.
You want to irritate Jojo Diaz? Tell him he doesn't have any power. He really believes that his power is going to start to emerge as his career moves forward. Hasn't shown that one-punch knockout power, but he believes it's there.
That was a big punch, but you got to give credit to Rakhimov taking that punch.
All right, stop, no punch.
Whether you have power or not, when you land that cleanly, I'm telling you.
Don't let him start. Right there. Don't let him start. Close him. He's stepping back. His legs are all gathered together, Joe. His legs are gathered together, Joe. You're going to step to him. That's it. What you're going to do with his legs?
Work out of it, gentlemen. Stop, 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 stop. Joe, watch it. Hey, you're that tight. Watch that back, all right? Okay? All right, let's go.
So a good round here for Jojo Diaz. You know, Diaz has been in these world title fights, has been in these big moments before. Rakhimov fighting in America for the first time.
Listen for that bell.
Rakhimov timed that jab from Diaz right there.
Jojo Diaz, unprofessional, saying it was karma that he missed weight yesterday.
Look, I would say this. If you sign a contract and you say you're going to give a fighter a rematch, you should give that fighter the rematch. The money was in the contract. Diaz found a loophole, and it clearly worked in his favor, but did he owe Farmer the rematch? Sure, yes he did.
Well, Jojo Diaz, when informed of the comments from Farmer yesterday, said, don't worry, I will fight him again. I'll beat him. In fact, I will end his career. So he is not affected at all, apparently, from the shouts from those outside the ring here tonight, but he's got a fight on his hands here with Rakhimov as blood starts to trickle out of his nose. Another straight left hand. Sergio, that seems to be the punch that's landing the most.
Rakhimov starting off real aggressive here, and that's what he needs to do with Diaz taking the momentum, but Diaz is feisty too. He's coming back with the shots of his own. And this is where he made the mistake with Gary Russell Jr. He tried to outbox him in the first half of the fight, but he needed to pressure Russell. He just was too slow for him. Right here, Diaz keeping punch for punch with Rakhimov.
Okay.
Earlier you said we were going to have a lot of blood here tonight, Sergio, and we see some now dripping onto the chest of Diaz Jr.
Yeah, it looks like Diaz's nose is bleeding.
Of course, in his fight against Tevin Farmer, one of the nastiest cuts you'll see. I don't know how he completed that fight. but somehow that cut cooperated. So the pandemic may have been a blessing in disguise, as it gave him plenty of time to have that cut heal. Nice snapping shot again as Rakhimov fires back.
Rakhimov is timing Diaz down. He's already found the distance nicely. Body shots by Jojo.
Now, both these guys are committed body punchers. Rakhimov, one of his best punches, that left hook to the body.
Combination finished off with the left.
Don't wait for him to start. Put it on him again. Go. See? Don't let him start. You got to control.
All right, stop, no punch. Straight back.
Over half of Rakhimov's power shots go to the body historically. We asked Rakhimov what his take was on Jojo Diaz missing weight. He said Jojo is not disciplined. He didn't take me seriously. He didn't take this fight seriously.
I think there's merit to that argument. I mean, Jojo Diaz wanted this fight instead of the Tevin Farmer fight. Maybe he would have acted the same way against anybody because of the things that were going on in his life, but I can see where Rakhimov can feel that way.
Work out there, gentlemen. Let him go. Pull your arm out.
Stay with you. There you go. Stay on the side of him again. There you go. Stay on the side of him. There you go. Keep working.
All right, stop. No punch. Straight back. Listen for the bells, gentlemen. Time right there.
That advice in the corner of Diaz.
I like that advice. It's the fact if you're blocking, just like he's doing right there, he's not letting any shots go, so it looks good on Rakhimov's part. So you got to catch and counter, or else you're going to give Rakhimov way too much credit and confidence.
You're going to give judges an opportunity to score rounds for him. Be more active than the other fighter.
I'll tell you this, if you said one of these fighters is going to be taunting the other guy and egging him on, I thought for sure it would be Jojo Diaz, not Rakhimov. But that's what's happening. After the first round, Rakhimov threw some late punches. At the end of the last round, he stared Jojo Diaz down, going to the corner. So I'm baiting him on here, waving his gloves.
Whenever a fighter struggles making weight, you're not going to see the effects of that until the middle to late round. So right now, Jojo holding his own. Rakhimov looking really solid and aggressive this round. Came out punching crisp and nicely. At a distance as well. I like that jab by Jojo. He's been doing it the last 3 rounds, just stabbing him downstairs, but that's what sets up the overhand lefts, like he just missed right there. See, that's what they don't want Jojo to do, just block shots like that, come back and counter, just like he did.
And a good adjustment, Sergio, by Rakhimov. With Jojo keeping the hands up, guarding the face, he went around the guard for a couple of good hooks.
This fight started about Jojo Diaz as a 3-1 favorite. Obviously, the missed weight was an issue bringing the line closer, but also people started watching more Rakhimov tape and started thinking, wow, man, maybe this guy can really pull off the upset. And the closing line was closer to about Jojo Diaz minus 130.
That's good.
You know, talking to Freddie Roach, told me about a month ago, Rakhimov told him he never runs. Freddie had assumed that during the conditioning part of his training, he had been going on runs. He hadn't been. So Freddie put him in a running program for the final month. And he said it's made a big difference with Rakhimov's stamina and sparring.
Rakhimov says that Freddie makes them run too much, but that's what he does with all his fighters. That's why it's no joke when you go to wild card.
Yeah, he sends him
sparring.
Sends him on those Manny Pacquiao runs.
Exactly. It's not only sparring. It's not only gym work. It's working outside in that road work, putting in that pavement work. Big combination there by Rakhimov. Rakhimov looking really sharp this round. Nothing landing cleanly. They land on the gloves of Diaz, but still, those are punches being landed and judges seeing that. Sharp round by Rakhimov.
And there is Freddie Roach. Good counter left from Jojo. Is this the fight you thought we would see?
Yeah, so far, both of them have showed what they can do, and that's why it's a pretty even fight going into the 5th round. Jojo started off nicely, and then Rakhimov finding his distance and his combinations down.
I think Jojo needs to counter more.
All right, stop,
needs
stop,
to go
stop,
to the
no
body
punch, no
more.
punch.
Rakhimov has been what I expected would be, what I've seen him be in previous fights. Jojo, against Farmer, much more committed with those body attacks.
Let's see how Chris Mannix had it scored through 4 rounds. You got it even.
Yeah, I thought Jojo won the first 2 rounds, but Rakhimov has done some really good work over these last 2, been the more active fighter. And as I said, making adjustments in the ring, throwing straight, like you see there, into the guard of Jojo Diaz, and when opportunity presents, he comes around with those hooks that have been pretty successful.
There's that sneaky body shot that Rakhimov is known for. It's a left hand, kind of like an uppercut. You think he's gonna land it to the chin, and he lands it right on the liver right there.
Yeah, one of his best punches.
There it is again.
Overhand left from Jojo. Rakhimov has certainly been more active.
All right, stop, stop, stop. No punch, no punch. Let him go, let him go. Let's go.
I don't want to see Jojo winging the shots like that. The jabs to the stomach is what's setting up the shots upstairs, but don't wing your punches and fall off balance, because it gives Rakhimov the opportunity to do that. Straight punches and get an angle on you.
Rakhimov linked up with Freddie Roach at Wildcard Gym in September. About 4 months to work with Freddie. How much can a trainer affect a fighter, a new trainer, in just 4 months?
Well, you can't really build chemistry in 4 months, but with Freddie Roach, it's not really about the chemistry. It's more about the hard work. That's what Freddie Roach is known for, and the fact that you're training amongst really tough, hungry fighters. The sparring and the road work, all that combined is what makes the Wild Card Gym so interesting for fighters to go train.
Where Freddie has focused has been the offense of Rakhimov. Freddie is historically an offensive-oriented trainer. He has tried to, work on Rakhimov's offense, his balance, his spacing, the distance in which way he fights. I think he's been effective so far.
We've almost reached the halfway point in this world title fight. IBF Super Featherweight Championship on the line only for Shavkat Rakhimov. Jojo Diaz ineligible because he did indeed miss weight.
Joseph Diaz Sr. wants his son to concentrate more on the body, and I agree right here, because that's exactly what Rakhimov is susceptible to. He's a little bit taller, keeps his elbows in nicely, but if you can keep his elbows in just digging down to the body like that, it's exactly how you build points and win rounds.
I know we're looking at Chris's scorecards, Sergio, but how do you score? Do you think that the more punches thrown and landed by Rakhimov are winning the rounds, or the heavier shots from Diaz?
I have a 3-2 for Diaz right now. That last round was a close round. Both of them had their moments, but I gave it to Diaz.
I didn't think it was close. I gave that to Rakhimov. I respect what you're saying, but I think Rakhimov has been more active, more accurate, and you can hear, I don't know if it's frustration in the corner of Diaz, but they want him doing more. They don't want him just sitting back and waiting for Rakhimov to get tired as this fight goes on.
Joel Diaz no longer in the corner of Jojo Diaz.
See that right there? These are punches that aren't landing, but they look good for the judges right now. So Rakhimov can continue punching at the gloves of Jojo Diaz and winning rounds if Jojo's not going to counter.
And I can understand why Diaz believes that he can succeed more in the later rounds. He's gone 12 rounds 5 times, whereas Rakhimov has only done it once. So he's more confident, more experienced in those later rounds. But Rakhimov just looks too sharp to maybe assume that.
I think both of these guys have flirted with turning this into a street fight. Diaz still, even though Rakhimov's back was turned almost through that punch.
Pull your arm out, Joe. Work out of it, guys. Work out of it.
keep going. You're going to the right of the left. Keep going, Joe. Don't go back like that, okay?
Okay.
Go.
Answering his corner, okay. You can hear the instructions very clearly.
No jabs from JoJo right now. Just falling around Rakhimov, and Rakhimov moving nicely to the perimeter of the ring.
Look out back, man. Go straight back. All right, stop. No punch. Straight back. Stop at the bell. Time right there.
Let's bring in Beto Duran with an update on JoJo Diaz's condition. And I guess that Beto wasn't in condition for that report. We'll get to him in a few minutes. But JoJo's corner wants him to be busier. Does he look a little bit lethargic to you?
In the last fight, in the last round, yes, he did, because he gave Rakhimov an opportunity to unleash on punches. They weren't landing. They're landing on the gloves, but they don't want that. It's a bad look for Joseph Diaz.
Yeah, but I think that's misleading, Sergio. I mean, I hear the corner saying that Rakhimov's punches are only landing on the gloves. That's not what I'm seeing. Some of them are, but many of them are finding a home on his head and his body.
Oh, there's a counter right hand from JoJo. What have we learned about Rakhimov so far? There's been questions about how good would he be against top-level competition. It's more than holding his own, it seems.
Yeah, it looks like he can fight and box going backwards, too. He can't just go forward pressuring. So what I've learned so far, that he can box going backwards and he can keep his distance, punching with clean shots with 1-2s and looking good doing it. Just like that.
Well, Diaz is not fighting like he's behind, even though he may well be.
Stop. Don't turn around. Let's go.
When he's cut, when he's taking off, he's cutting. Go wait for him. You gotta cut him and go, damn it. Let's go.
Oh, nice shot there. The best one perhaps of the fight by Rakhimov, who even enjoyed his own work.
Stop.
JoJo holding on until he got buzzed and rocked by that shot.
Joe, back up. Don't do that, all right? Let's go.
Rakhimov thinks JoJo's hurt a little bit.
That's the problem when you start putting on too much pressure. You're going to be susceptible to big punches and counter shots like that. Always got to fight behind that jab.
Rakhimov with an 80% knockout ratio. He does have power.
Back leg closer. There you go, back leg closer. That's right, come on.
Good shot by Diaz right there.
Back leg close, Joe, so you can throw from there.
If you can't tell, Rakhimov, whoa, there's another left hand. Rahimov's favorite fighter is Miguel Cotto. The tattoo looks essentially identical.
Listen for that
Diaz
bell.
again with a heavy-handed blow.
Stop. Smack it straight up. Time. Let's go.
Let's try and check in one more time with Beto Duran. Are you there, Beto?
Yeah, the longer this fight goes, the bigger concern for Diaz's corner. The conditioning is a factor for him. They said because of him trying to lose weight yesterday, the fact that he came in so heavy, that the longer the fight goes, they see him slowing down. That's why the first couple rounds, you saw JoJo come out really aggressive, try to drop some bombs. He was trying to end it early. In the locker room, I asked him, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to end it early. That was the plan, because they don't think he has enough conditioning to go full 12.
Well, I don't think JoJo Diaz has enough power to end it early, so he's going to have to dig down deep right now. I mean, this is a close fight. He's in this fight. But Rakhimov definitely, with the lighter, swifter feet and the punches, coming out a lot easier from Rakhimov.
Yeah, and I'm sure JoJo Diaz came into this fight, believing that perhaps
Stop. No punch.
Rakimov's record was misleading. He's never faced someone on his level, and perhaps he could have knocked him out. But I'm sure he realized very early that that wasn't going to happen.
Nice left hand there from JoJo.
It's the second left hand. He's starting to find the timing of Rakhimov. It's a nice round by JoJo. Rakhimov looking for that sneaky left hand to the body that he loves so much.
Get under his jab, Joe. Get under his jab. Get under his jab. Let's go. Yeah, don't let him get into that. Go. Get under his jab and stay there. Work under that jab right away. And then work under that jab.
If you did not know that JoJo Diaz missed weight, Chris,
Stop. No
do you think he's not himself tonight?
Doesn't look like the fighter I've seen in his most high-profile fights. Even against Gary Russell, I thought Diaz fought reasonably well. I thought he stuck to
No, nice left hand there from Rakhimov, and that physically moved Diaz. You can see that woke something up inside of him, and he's firing back now, and we're finally getting the action we hoped for.
There's the power of Rakhimov. He has it with that left hand.
I thought it was Diaz. I think they both landed left hands right there because I saw Diaz land a nice shot on Rakhimov.
Yeah, but I think Diaz got the worst of it. It was a cleaner punch by Rakhimov.
Right hand from Rakhimov.
They're both exchanging big left hands.
Stop. I know, but if he's holding, you can't get back here. Time.
Pitter pat, right?
Well, Rakhimov has thrown 284 jabs in this fight. That is uncharacteristic of him. I wonder if that was part of the game plan or just something he's done on his own as this fight has progressed.
Well, they came into this fight looking for the knockout because, you know, look, JoJo is experienced, as we said, in those championship rounds, but you have to be pleased if you're Rakhimov's corner about the kind of condition he's in as we enter that 9th round.
And keep in mind, this is the first fight for JoJo Diaz since the pandemic began, so it is a different experience with no fans here. He certainly feeds off of energy like most fighters do.
That's usually the case, but I don't think that's it. I think he's starting to feel the effects of having to lose all that weight and drain. I mean, right now he's having a really good round here against Rakhimov, backing him up and landing good body shots, JoJo is.
Yeah, to that point, Sergio, Rakhimov made weight very easy for this fight.
Let's go. Touch him, Joe. Let him start. Touch him and draw it out of his then go.
The over-under this fight, 10.5, and the line heavily tilted towards the over. It's a plus 370 for the under.
Stop, no punch. Right here.
So a knockout not expected in this fight, at least before round 11.
You can't go backwards. You can't go backwards. No, you can't go backwards. Go with the straight.
And the cut that JoJo suffered, that gruesome cut that he suffered from that fight with Tevin Farmer, hasn't opened up, hasn't showed signs of bleeding. And usually when a fighter struggles making weight and dehydrates, it's easier to cut.
Shove it as you get in there, son. Touch him. Come on, stiff, and go. Come on, right away, up the second one.
Still anyone's fight here.
Stiff, and go. Control him, Jojo. Control him. Stiff and go. There you go. Keep that control. Come on, keep that control. That's it, keep control.
All right, stop, no punch.
Stop your back leg and come underneath him. Stop your back leg and come underneath him when he grabs it.
It's a good run by JoJo. Seems like he's found his groove again.
Close them with your hands, Joe. Close them with your hands. You don't have to hit him. That's right. He's not going to be coming out. Put your hands on him. Joe, if you put your hands on him, he knows nothing was coming out, Jojo. Keep working. That's right. He knows. Come on, keep working.
Ooh, sounded good.
Double up on that shit. Double up on that shit, Joe. Come on.
They're both exchanging big left hands right there. That's what you're hearing, Todd.
We're hearing loud profanity coming out of the corner of Diaz Jr.'s. It's his father screaming.
Listen for that bell, gentlemen.
The father likes what he's seen.
Yeah. Father wants more of it, though. Give Dad what he wants.
Time right there. Let's go.
Just a couple seconds as we enter round 10. 3 to go. IBF Super Featherweight title on the line if Shavkat Rakhimov can pull it off.
That's it. Come on, let's go.
And there is Chris Mannix's scorecard, and he has got Rakhimov up by 3 rounds. Sergio, do you agree with that?
I think he might be winning by 1 round, but I like the last round that Joseph did. I think it's a lot closer than
Well, I like the last round that Diaz had as well, Sergio, but you look at the middle part of this fight, it's just felt like Rakhimov has largely been in control. Now, you'd like to think that all judges are impartial, but we do have to remember, we're in California. Nope, the backyard of Jojo Diaz. Rakhimov is the road fighter, so if I'm Rakhimov's corner, I'm telling him we have to win each of these last 3 rounds and win them convincingly to have a shot at taking a decision.
I could see Rakhimov being up by 1, maybe 2 rounds, but more than that, I just don't see it. I think it's a close fight.
Well, the old adage is they give the champions the close round. You got to beat the champ decisively to win the title. But Jojo Diaz, as we've learned, is not the champ anymore. The title taken from him, or perhaps he gave it away on the scale.
Step the back leg in closer. Step that back in closer, Jojo. Then you've got all your leverage. All your leverage. Back leg
Beto Duran reporting that
That's right. Get your back leg in.
Jojo Diaz's father was telling him in between rounds to stop admiring your punches. You land a big shot, you stand there and look at it. Follow it up with another one.
And he's not doing that this round. I mean, he's punching nice and backing up Rakhimov. And that's something he hasn't really done this fight, is jab. He hasn't really thrown that many jabs. Jojo has.
Yeah, Rakhimov's output is slowed last round and now in the first 2 minutes of this one. That could be partially that he's not used to fighting 10, 11, 12. Only went 12 once, whereas Jojo Diaz much more familiar in this territory.
Throw with your elbows in. Let's go. Throw with your elbows in. Let's go. Yeah, put your elbows in there. Let's go. Come up, Jojo. Big point forward. Forward, forward, forward. Go, go, go. Let's go. Come on, go, go, forward. Forward, go. That's it again. Again.
Good jab.
Nice long jab by Rakhimov. It looks like Rakhimov's legs aren't under him like they were in the earlier rounds, and fatigue might be setting in down there.
You know, Chris, your arch rival, Mike Coppinger, is here, and he says he's got Jojo Diaz winning decisively. He says, what fight is Mannix watching?
The actual fight?
We'll see who's right. We have entered the championship rounds. Round 11.
Regardless of how I'm scoring it or anybody ringside is scoring it, if you're Rakhimov, you've now got 5.5 minutes to change your life, to put yourself in position for big paydays in title unification fight. That belt is currency for you. A chance to fight some of the top guys like Miguel Berchelt, Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson, Jamel Herring. You win this title, you've got options. So for these next 5 minutes, let it all hang out, man.
No retreat, no surrender.
Guys, hands are free, hands are free.
Jojo's having a really good 11th round right here. So if this fight really is as close as some people have it, I think Jojo's doing the right thing by getting aggressive and backing up Rakhimov.
There's no question Jojo's been better these last 2 rounds and looking good in this one. He is, as we've talked about, looking more comfortable in this championship round.
Are you surprised that he's closing so strong, Sergio?
I am.
Considering those middle rounds, he just kind of was plodding a little bit. Nice left on the entry there from Rakhimov.
No, I really am, and considering he struggled so much in making weight. But this is a really good round for Jojo Diaz.
I'm sure, Sergio, there's also a rush of adrenaline when you get into these 11th, 12th rounds, when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
No, definitely. Especially when it's a close fight. I mean, Jojo got introduced as a former champion. This was supposed to be his coming out party as a champion, and just, you know, he can redeem himself with a victory here.
Stop.
He's not going to be a champion no more, but at least he can maybe attempt to fight for a world title again.
Put your hands on him, son. Go, put your hand on him again.
All right, stop, no punch, no punch. Straight back, Joe. Let him go. Let him go. Joe, not on the break. Okay, let's go. All right, stop, no punch.
Nice left hand by Rakhimov right there.
He does well on the entry for sure.
Yeah, he's back, though, to that lunging technique we talked about, the stuff that Freddie Roach tried to break him with. If you're Jojo Diaz, kind of time some of that. If he's going to jump in and try to land a big shot, see if you can catch him when he comes in.
Oh, and there's a counter, right? That's what Chris Mannix wanted, and that's what Jojo Diaz delivered.
Rakhimov keeping his head up high. Another good round by Jojo Diaz. Roach sensed the urgency, and it might come down to this last round, regardless how you have it.
Excellent advice from Freddie Roach in the corner. Let your hands go, man. You have got 3 minutes to change your life.
He is not your friend. At least not for the next 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Rakhimov perhaps on the precipice of something that few fighters, if any, have done from his very home country of Tajikistan, a 3-time national champion. He now lives in Russia, a relative unknown, or nothing relative about it. He is an unknown in this country, but he'll certainly be remembered if he can win this tonight as Jojo Diaz lands a power punch.
Stop. No knockdown.
Jojo timing Rakhimov with this entry now.
And if indeed, according to Chris Mannix's theory, Jojo Diaz did think that last round was the 12th round, how deflating must that have been for him as he stands up to go 3 more minutes longer than he thought he had to go.
Nice right hook right there by Jojo Diaz, and it's all timing right there because timing beats speed. And right now, Rakhimov may be a little bit faster than Jojo, but the timing is just sharp on Jojo. He's the one finishing off these championship rounds.
Right there. Right there, you pick it up there. Again, close him up. See, don't let him start. Put it on him. Don't let him start.
Sergio, how challenging is it in that last round of a championship level fight or a big fight to do that, to just let your hands go and throw caution to them?
Well, whenever you're getting timed, like I just said, by hooks by Jojo Diaz, and he's been, I mean, Jojo's a former champion. Now, he was introduced as a former champion, but he's been to this level, the 11th and 12th round, and he knows how to slow things down. That's what he's doing here, and that's why he's controlling.
Nice right hand by Diaz.
I mean, he's closing the show now, Diaz. In that close fight, Diaz is closing out the show like a champion.
There's a power punch landing for Rakhimov.
This has been a fight-saving finish, though, for Jojo Diaz, who looked like he was in big trouble in those middle rounds. But we talk about the conditioning, problematic, sure, in this fight for Diaz, who missed weight, but he has been the better conditioned fighter in these last few rounds.
Nice entry-level shot. He's fallen back to his old ways. It has produced some success here in the last few rounds. Did he do enough? Will we have a new IBF Super Featherweight champion?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 12 exciting rounds of action inside the ring, we go to the judges' scorecards. Here are the totals. Robert Hoyle, 115, 113 for Diaz. Overruled by both Fernando Villarreal and Zach Young, who score it 114-114. This bout is a majority draw.
Wow. Well, Chris Mannix, well done with your scorecard.
Thank you, man. Very much.
And neither man really upset with that. Jojo Diaz, I thought, would be a little perturbed, but the look on his face, Sergio, tells me he's fine with it.
After everything Jojo Diaz